This is Mac OS Ken.
News around wearables, speculation around betas, and nominations for more awards. It is Tuesday, the 16th of March, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Mint Mobile. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/macosken. This show is also sponsored by Amazon Pharmacy. Your medication made easy. You take prescriptions either to maintain your health or to get better. Is there any reason for you to go where people who aren't feeling well are going to pick up their meds? You can have your medication shipped straight to your door with Amazon Pharmacy. I'd be willing to bet that almost everybody listening to this has had something delivered to them by Amazon. As a Prime member, I've used them quite a bit. They know how to get stuff to you, and they can do it with your meds too. Just have your doctor's office send your next prescription straight to Amazon Pharmacy, and your medication turns up right at your door. Their pricing is clear and understandable, they're HIPAA compliant, and you can get in touch with a pharmacist 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're still going to the pharmacy to pick up your meds, have them come to you instead. Amazon Prime members can save on prescription medication when not using insurance and get free 2-day delivery. Learn more at amazon.com/macosken. All one word, all lowercase, that's amazon.com/macosken. amazon.com/macosken. There are tough comparisons we think about. iPads post-lockdown, Macs post-lockdown, and some we might find surprising. TF International analyst Ming-Chi seems to think that the happy fun time is over for AirPods. Days of explosive growth for AirPods may already be over, reads the Cult of Mac headline, based on a Young MC note. Quoting that note, we cut our forecast of 2021 AirPod shipments by 30 to 35% to 75 to 80 million units, which implies the 10 to 15% year-over-year decline. We differentiated from the market's consensus of 110 to 120 million units in 2021, indicating 25 to 30% year-over-year growth. If that holds, it would be the first year-over-year decline for Apple's everlasting ear stoppers. For the first full year of sales, estimates had Apple selling about 15 million pair. According to the Cult, that was followed by 35 million units in 2018, almost 60 million in 2019, and, according to Quo, 90 million units in 2020. To be clear, the product's not dead, and neither is the category. In fact, as has happened with other Apple products, Cupertino's truly wireless earbuds kicked life into a market that's now seeking to supplant them. Cult of Mac says when Apple shows up as an early mover in a category, other manufacturers create rival products that grab market share but fail to slow Apple's sales momentum. After a while, as markets become more saturated and third-party products get better, Apple's gains stall. While growth may be over for AirPods, they'll probably keep crushing it in terms of market share, at least for the foreseeable future. Apple Insider has new numbers from IDC that show Apple owning the wearables market, including hearables, an unfortunate though widely adopted term for tech through which one listens. It's actually kind of interesting. The IDC numbers could add support to Ming-Chi Kuo's argument that AirPods and growth are parting ways. Quoting the Apple Insider piece on the IDC numbers, shipment growth for the hearables category, which includes AirPods, AirPods Pro, and AirPods Max, slowed down in the fourth quarter compared to the previous two. Despite that, shipments were still up 22% from the fourth quarter of 2019. Hey, as long as I'm being a tiny bit ranty about the hearables thing, here's another thing that I don't like. Why are we calling hearables something else but lumping them into the same category as Apple Watch under the larger wearables umbrella? It's reminiscent of the days when some firms would say Apple was the #1 computer maker in the world because they counted iPads as computers. Whatever and whatever and whatever. According to IDC, wearables, including hearables, grew just over 27% last quarter. Over a third of that, 36% of the 27%, belong to Apple. Apple Insider says IDC estimates the Cupertino tech giant shipped 55.6 million wearable devices in the fourth quarter of 2020, up from 43.7 million in the fourth quarter of 2019. Apple Watch was Cupertino's big wearables winner. It grew 45% year over year, according to IDC. The firm thinks that's because of the range of devices available, including Apple Watch Series 3, Apple Watch SE, and Apple Watch Series 6. Nipping at Apple's heels in wearables, nobody. Xiaomi came in second last quarter with 8.8% of the wearables market. Samsung was third with 8.5%. By IDC's numbers, Apple Insider says both companies actually lost market share despite growing shipment numbers. Updates for Apple Things and iThings are inching closer. iDownload blog says Apple on Monday seeded the fourth betas of iOS 14.5, iPadOS 14.5, tvOS 14.5, watchOS 7.4, macOS Big Sur 11.3, and HomePod 14.5 to developers. Over the past several weeks, releases to developers have been followed a day or two later by releases to public beta testers, so don't be surprised to see those pop up soon. No hard release dates for the updates to the public, though that'll likely be soon as well. Apple has said that its app tracking transparency scheme will go into effect in early spring. That's tied to several of Apple's updates, making an early spring release likely for the whole lot. Spring starts this Saturday in the Northern Hemisphere, so yeah, updates are coming soon. While sussing what's coming based on betas can be folly, there is an interesting beta find out this week. Cult of Mac says yesterday's fourth beta of iOS 14.5 gives users a new, separate toggle to choose whether to automatically install security updates. That's security updates specifically, not all updates, which is the only option currently available. That said, this might be a beta-only thing, never meant for mere mortals such as we. According to the cult, when iOS 14.5 is released, two options become download new updates and install security updates. At this point, there is seemingly no option to automatically install every iOS update. It is hard to imagine Apple taking away such a huge set it and forget it option, which calls the rest of this story into question. I mean, I'm sure Cult of Mac is seeing what it's seeing. For me, though, it's hard to imagine we'll see the same thing in the public release. But we'll see. More news in a moment, but first a word from Mint Mobile, cutting your wireless bill to as little as $15 a month. What sets Mint Mobile apart? Well, they say their secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They don't have to pay for stores or kiosks, which means you don't have to pay for stores or kiosks. That's how they keep your price so low. To me, what's amazing is how good the service is, especially considering how much I'm saving. A full year of Mint Mobile cost me less than 3 months used to with my old carrier. I'm saving tons of money, still with audio quality that's just as good, speeds that are just as fast, and coverage that has me covered. Of course, you want to make sure it works as well for you as it does for me. That's why Mint Mobile comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee. Really try it out. Make sure the coverage has you covered and the speed is what you need. If you're not totally stoked, return it within 7 days for a full refund. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/macOSKen. That's MINT, mintmobile.com/macOSKen. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/macOSKen. Apple's done a sort of press release charm offensive with the UK, because let's be honest, when governments around the world are eyeing you for possibly anti-competitive behavior, any time is a good time to remind those countries how much they love you. In the midst of the pandemic, Apple points out App Store now supports more than 330,000 jobs in the UK. That's an increase of over 10% since this time last year, or growth from hashtag those uncertain times to hashtag these times in which we live. Quoting the release, developers across the UK generated to date more than £3.6 billion in total earnings, growing 22% in 2020 from the previous year. That trend echoed across Europe, where the iOS app economy grew to support 1.7 million jobs, a 7% increase since 2019. The UK leads Europe in the iOS app developer jobs, with Germany and France estimated to each host over 250,000 jobs. Reading between the lines, or the text under the text, Apple seems to be pointing out the kinds of things regulators might want to consider when considering regulation, which they're said to be considering. Hey, here's something we haven't said much in the last 12 months. Travelin' Tim's traveling again. Or not. Mac Rumors cites a report from China's Global Times saying Apple CEO Tim Cook will be one of 100-plus high-profile CEOs and executives in attendance at this year's China Development Forum, being held Saturday, the 20th of March, through Monday, the 22nd. As for what he's in for, the piece says the CDF is an annual conference organized and led by Development Research Center for the State Council to gather the world's most prominent executives and CEOs to discuss China's economic future and the roadmap of the global economy. The question is he really in? It turns out in attendance may be the wrong words. Participating in some capacity might be more accurate. It's unclear whether he'll fly through the air or zoom in via Zoom. After saying in its headline, Tim Cook attending Chinese Development Conference later this month, Mac Rumors waits until the story's last paragraph to say, this year's conference will be a hybrid of virtual and in-person, although it's unclear in which capacity Cook will attend. Apple TV Plus has nabbed its first ever Oscar nominations. The Mac Observer says the streamer's up for a couple of awards, though one almost wants to say 2.5. We'll start with the ones it might actually win. According to the piece, the Tom Hanks film Greyhound has been nominated for Achievement in Sound. It's up against Mank, News of the World, Soul, and Sound of Metal. Perhaps the more prestigious of the two award possibilities, the piece says Wolfwalkers has been nominated for Best Animated Feature Film. It's up against Onward, Over the Moon, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, and Soul. As for the half award I mentioned, TMO says Boy State was named in the original long list of 15 in the documentary feature category last month. However, it did not make it into the final list of nominees. The Oscars are going later than usual this year due to COVID-19. Originally scheduled for the end of February, the Academy decided last June to move this year's awards to the 25th of April. And finally today, Apple's launched another game tied to one of its TV shows, though this one is much more low-key. Last month, the Cupertino company made an AR experience tied to For All Mankind. For the M. Night Shyamalan show Servant, they've gone much smaller. A friend got an email from a PR firm last night letting her know about the game Survive the Attic. Meant for mobile browsers, the firm described the title as an interactive experience bringing long-standing and new fans into the world of Servant and filled with Easter eggs, puzzles, and more. I think I called it a game, though that's not quite right. The press release says Survive the Attic consists of a series of 10 puzzles, each with a 60-second time limit. While it starts out simple, the challenge increases the further you go. Each puzzle is based on show elements and mysteries in Servant, both Seasons 1 and 2. I didn't watch enough of Servant for any of the callbacks to mean anything to me. I will say, though, Survive the Attic has the same level of creepiness that kept me from watching the rest of Servant. So if the show's your cup of tea, you might like the collection of games as well. Or if you haven't seen the show and like casual games with a touch of the macabre, it's online now. One point of frustration. Being a browser-based game, if you mess up, you have to start over. You can check it out for yourself at apple.co/survive-the-attic. Coming up in a few minutes, Jeff Gamet is a fan of the original HomePod, though he never thought of getting a second one. That's good, since he can't now. We're talking over the end of Apple's first smart speaker in a few minutes. Listen and latch on wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken Live goes live again today, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KenRay. Catch it live or on replay there. You can also grab the audio podcast, macOS Ken Live, wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Amazon Pharmacy. Your medication made easy. Learn more at amazon.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Mint Mobile. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.